Welcome one and all to another edition of the Defo Show with Lubie here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, brought to you by Water Cleanup of Florida. Are you a South Florida property owner with an insurance claim? Are you dealing with water, mold, or fire damage to your home or business? Are you having trouble locating a 5-star rated general contractor that is fully licensed, certified, and insured? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, then Water Cleanup of Florida is here for you 24 hours a day with over 60 years of combined experience between Michael, Robert, George, and their team is prepared to handle any size property damage disaster. When an unexpected damage occurs to your home or business, you need specialized, fast, and reliable services. Water Cleanup of Florida understands the impact and stress an unexpected disaster may cause. Their objective is to make the cleanup and insurance claim process painless and hassle-free. Water Cleanup of Florida is also a licensed general contractor. This is huge. This is something that helped my wife and I, because not only they fixed water damage at our house, but they left it looking brand new because of this. They are able to provide the A to Z service, one-stop shopping that busy homeowners and business owners require. Water Cleanup of Florida is now an authorized dealer of Eurocraft cabinets. So premier kitchen, bath, and laundry cabinetry, countertops, and other accessories are available for your viewing at their showroom in Boca Raton. Or if you prefer to shop from your home or office, then Water Cleanup will send one of their design specialists to you with samples and products that fit your style and budget. Call Michael anytime on his personal cell at 954-579-0356. If you have any questions or want to have Water Cleanup of Florida help you out, 954-579-0356. Or visit the website at wcufl.com. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, at Water Cleanup FL. And check out their over 85-star reviews on Google and Facebook. Water Cleanup of Florida, if you have the schmutz, they have the guts. It was a very schmutzy national title game, but the Final Four was cool to see UM and FAU there. Yes, Miami sort of wasn't really representative against UConn Saturday. FAU went down to the buzzer against San Diego State. But in the end, it was a tremendous historical season for the Miami Hurricanes. We talked to, once again, we're honored, privileged, and appreciate talking to the man himself, the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes men's basketball team, Coach Jim Laranaga, joined Defo and I. You can check out that conversation right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, the Defo Show with Lubie.
Jim Laranaga, we love you, Jim Laranaga. Coach Laranaga, won't you do us a favor? Bring us a winner, one stinking winner. Deliver a winner in this town filled with losers.
Buenos dias. The cafecito is piping hot. Why not enjoy it with Defo and Lubie? It's now time for the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back into the program here, and it's a pleasure, as always, to welcome a man we consider to be a real treasure as a guest. And, of course, anytime we're talking basketball with Jim Laranaga, we're feeling great about it. And we welcome Coach L to the program. Coach, how are you? Congratulations on a great season. I know a lot of people don't give credit to teams that don't win at all. Only one team can do that. But for me, it was a magic carpet ride, and for a lot of people in town. And I know you felt very good about the fact that your team got to that platform in the Final Four. How are you? And thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks, Defo. The first thing that runs through my mind is that the last 2 years, there's only been one team to reach the Elite Eight back-to-back years, and that's the University of Miami men's basketball team.
Yep.
Last year, we reached the Elite Eight. This year, we took even another step further, getting to the Final Four. We lost, but we lost to the eventual champion, the University of Connecticut, who was very, very good. We had an off night. They had a great night, and they were able to advance and eventually defeat San Diego State.
Real tough shooting night for your club. It was sort of reminiscent of the first 30 minutes, I guess, against Texas in a previous ball game that got you and was your springboard into the Final Four. You did manage to turn it around, or your players did, in that game as they started hitting shots. Were you sensing that was going to turn around again as you were sort of clawing your way back in there, and got to within 8? And then, unfortunately, the shots continued not to fall with any frequency.
Well, here's what I think, that we were one of the most efficient offensive teams in the country all season long, top 10. And that when you're an offensive efficiency team, that means you're getting good shots, you're moving the basketball. And I think Connecticut deserves a lot of credit. They put a lot of pressure on us, and we got a little anxious. Every time I think we missed a shot, we started to feel it. And at the other end of the court, they opened up the game making 3 straight threes.
Yeah.
With their big guy, Sunoco, making
2 from Sunoco. Did he not look like Manute Bol with the form on that shot? I mean, weren't you happy when he launched those? They look like certain bricks.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is they had a great game, and we would have needed to have a great game to beat them. Yeah. And we didn't. We missed shots, and then kind of there was a snowball effect. One guy missed, and then pretty soon another guy, and we struggled. And we tried to, do what we did against Texas and make a good run. We did that against Drake, where we were behind most of the game, and went on a 16-1 run to end the game, and we just never could get anything going. The 59 points was the lowest point total of the season.
Jeez.
Not of the tournament, but of the season. We were averaging over 80, but it wasn't to be.
So, yeah, and you just brought it up, Coach, but that's something you were great at all tournament, and we've been privileged and lucky to talk to you, but every game it seemed like whatever was going wrong, you were able to make an adjustment in game that had a major effect and led to a victory. What is it like in the game to watch your guys struggling and not be able to pull the rabbit out of the hat, so to say?
Well, I felt like, our players were trying. The effort was great. Yeah. We were. In fact, we held Connecticut to 72 points. That's their lowest total of the tournament. If on a normal game we hold them to 72 and we score 80, we win.
Yep. Right.
It just wasn't a normal. Now, some of it has to do with being in the Final Four. Getting there is great, but once you get there, you really want to win. And I think we just put a little bit too much pressure on ourselves. We didn't play our normal game.
It was great, too. I mean, you couldn't help but become fans of some of your players. And, it's funny because people say, oh, well, geez, nobody pays attention here to college basketball until the tournament starts. And even then, they don't know what's going on. But we started picking up this ride a little earlier. And, the guys that you had that were your core were a lot of fun to watch. And it seemed like a different guy would come through in different stretches of ball games, whether it was Nigel Pack, that game by Jordan Miller when he had the perfecto from the floor against Texas, sensational. And, who didn't love the Wes Unseld attack at the boards of O'Meara? That was phenomenal. And Isaiah Wong, when he got it going, as we said, he looked like Kawhi Leonard, speaking of San Diego State, in that one stretch where he was making all of those mid-range jumpers and turnarounds and fallaways and, really got you punched back into that ball game against Texas. You really love these guys. I mean, that was something that came across, and it was a great thing, I think, for the city to have a chance to see these guys that enjoyed playing together so much, and really, obviously showed a lot of character and a lot of class and dignity along the way.
Well, here's what I would say: the greatest symbolic thing about getting to the Final Four was how the Coral Gables and the city of Miami rallied around the team. We had 10,000 locals at the game cheering us on.
Wow.
10,000.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So
yeah.
We sold more tickets than any other team. We had tremendous support. We all stayed at the same hotel and had great gatherings. I must have taken 1,000 selfies and pictures, with our fans.
Yeah.
And it was just great to see that, the excitement surrounding our basketball program. You know, if you go back to 1971, there was no interest in the basketball program, so they folded their tent. There was no University of Miami basketball team from 71 to 85. Then when they brought it back, it was a slow building process. Then when my staff and I arrived in 2011, we started building towards this. And to get to the Final Four was a tremendous accomplishment for these players and my coaching staff.
Coach, we know you've not only embraced UM and the basketball, but we talked with you about Mario Cristobal coming and what that meant for the program, the school. You've embraced the Miami area. You've embraced South Florida. What is it to say that not only UM, but both UM and we know you have a relationship with Dusty May, both UM and FAU made the Final Four for this area where basketball is just still in its infancy, for both programs to make the Final Four, and it feels like both programs are here to stay. Like, what does that do for South Florida as a whole?
No, I think it's wonderful for South Florida, and Dusty May and his staff and team did a fantastic job. You know, my staff and I, we played FAU a year ago and beat them at FAU by 2 points. And everybody said, oh, man, Miami's not going to be that good if they can only beat FAU by 2. I told my staff, I said, hey, that's a very good team. And they just, Dusty May and staff, you know, filled in some pieces and got a transfer, and all of a sudden they're not only winning their league, get to the NCAA tournament, but advancing to the Final Four. So college basketball has changed dramatically with the transfer portal. You get the right 1 or 2 transfers, you know, and every team in the Final Four had them, and no team in the Final Four had a McDonald's All-American.
That's funny.
Wow.
So you don't need a McDonald's All-American, a great freshman to lead you to victory. Now you can do it with upperclassmen and transfers.
How much time, do you have your staff, looking at either incoming freshmen that would normally be considered, the emphasis of any kind of recruiting, and eyeballing the transfer portal?
Well, we do both throughout the year. In July, we're on the road recruiting, looking at seniors in high school, and kind of looking also at sophomores and juniors to be, so that we can start being proactive and looking for who we might want to recruit the following year. And then in August, September, October, high school recruiting really picks up and a lot of kids sign. By November, the signing date, almost every good high school player has made his decision and is committed to a school. It may not be 100%, but it's pretty darn close. That means in April, there are not enough good high school players to recruit. So you go after kids in the transfer portal. And right now, there's over 1,200 players in the transfer portal.
Wow.
So then those are older guys who
right.
might be 20, 21, 22. We played against a team this year that had a 25-year-old starter.
Yes.
So these older guys have more experience, and I think that's one of the reasons, the 4 teams that made it to the Final Four did not really start a freshman, did not have a McDonald's All-American.
I think Drake had a couple of guys in their starting lineup that were in school longer than John Blutarski. And so, they were very mature, and, it's a different ballgame going against an 18, 19-year-old kid. All right, what remains intact for you, Coach? What do you anticipate having to work with from this obviously excellent and talented core that you had, and what do you think you're going to have to look for to try and be in a similar spot next year?
Well, the first thing is we don't really know at this point in time, because there's always 3 possibilities. Number 1, obviously the best is they return to Miami. But number 2, they can put their name into the draft. And number 3, they can put their name into the portal. And those 3 options are available, and we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. We'll be actively looking in the portal to see what we need to complete our roster.
It was your second time going to the Final Four. Of course, a Cinderella ride there with George Mason going back to 2006. How would you compare the two experiences, Coach? First time, has to be, obviously something that you would never forget, and especially with a team that didn't seem like it was a likely candidate to be in that spot. And then, UM probably, obviously a little more well known than, and in the Elite Eight last year. So not as big of a surprise as George Mason was. But what was it like going back 17 years later for you?
Well, 17 years ago, the experts were saying George Mason would not even be invited to the tournament. And then when we got in, the experts said we didn't belong.
Right.
We came from a very weak league, and we didn't beat anybody good. I try to tell everybody, no, this team is very, very good. And then the experts predicted we'd get crushed by Michigan State in the first round, and we didn't. We won. Then we played the defending national champion, North Carolina, so everybody said, well, that for sure will end it. It didn't. We won. We got to the Sweet 16 and beat Wichita State. And then we had to play the number one team in the country, the number one seed in the tournament, the University of Connecticut. So everybody said, well, then, for sure we will lose, and we didn't. We won in overtime. And I kind of was hoping we were reliving that and this year. But the difference this year, our Miami team was ranked. Not immediately, but for, I think, at least 8 weeks or more, maybe 10 weeks during the season. And we won the ACC regular season, and we're seeded fifth. So the ACC had only 5 teams in, but they're a good 5 teams. And last year we got to the Elite Eight, but so did Duke and Carolina. 3 teams in the Elite Eight and 2 in the Final Four. So we felt as a program we were improving, making progress, and it was just great this year. We got our chance to get back to the big dance and not only get there, but make a great come from behind victory against Drake, another great win over Indiana, and then beating the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the Midwest Regional Final, Houston and Texas, to get to Houston and play in the Final Four.
Oh, it's fantastic. And as you said, support around the country. And I think some of that inspired by the dance moves, which, as you said, while you were taking those 1,000 pictures and selfies, you were exhibiting, again, the same kind of rhythms that you would see in some of the nightclubs here in South Florida. So that was great. You seem to be in great spirits, Coach. And, we want to congratulate you again on just an outstanding season. It was a lot of fun, and it was great taking the ride with you. It was chaos, too, the tournament. I don't know, because you were so involved with your team, I don't know how much, a reaction, you had a chance to have to some of the other things that were happening. Obviously, you had to be following it, but I thought this was like the most wildly entertaining NCAA tournament I've seen in the 60-some-odd years I've been watching college basketball.
Well, yeah, the other thing that was a really great sign for our basketball program and the University of Miami is at the Watsco Center. We weren't playing a home game, but they packed the Watsco Center and had a watch party.
Oh, nice!
And so they showed it on the jumbotron in the Watsco Center, and a lot of students and fans who couldn't make it to Houston, watched it there. So, we're real proud of the team, the season we had, and it's onward and upward now.
A lot of great stories, and as you said, this is something that people will take with them for a lifetime in terms of the memories. Coach, thank you so much, and for always being so generous with your time with us. So we really appreciate it, and it's just great to have you on the program, and tremendous ride and continued success to the University of Miami. It really converted a lot of people into big fans and brought these players to light, as personalities as well. And we can't thank you enough for being with us on the program all the time.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks a lot. Jim Laranaga, ladies and gentlemen.
So it may have ended with a thud as the Canes the closest they got into the second half was 8 points, and the game never really felt that close in the Final Four versus UConn. But look, UConn went on to dismantle San Diego State, went on to win going away in every single matchup. They literally won every game in the NCAA tournament by double digits. So they were just the best team in the brackets. But the Miami Hurricanes finding the way to their first Final Four in program history. A team that's been on the rise. Coach Larranaga and his staff did a great job, and the players really rose above what seemed to be a very questionable place in the tournament, in the sense that heading in, we weren't sure if we'd see Norchad O'Meara. He got hurt early in the Duke game in the conference tournament, the semifinals of the ACC tournament. We weren't sure what we'd see, and then he came out with a vengeance. This group came together and really went on a magical run, and it was really cool to see. And we appreciate Coach Larranaga joining us throughout the tournament. Every single week we talk with Coach Larranaga, and it was really cool to see what he did, him with our eyes on the court, and then talk to him after the fact. So good luck to the Canes in this offseason. Good luck to them going forward. We turn our attention to the Miami Heat, as I don't think they're going to get the 6th seed. We'll see what happens with the play-in. We'll see what happens with them down the stretch. It doesn't feel like they're going to do much damage in the playoffs, but you never know. With Jimmy Butler, Bam, hero. And it's funny, they have a group of guys that hasn't played well together this year, but we've seen them play well in the playoffs before. You never know. The Panthers, on the outside looking in, they may get in. I don't know. It's been a very disappointing season for them. But we'll try and keep our hope up. We'll try and keep our hopes up, heads held high, and see how these seasons finish out. We'll talk plenty more about that each and every morning on the Defo Show with Lubie. Check us out on South Florida Live from 7 to 9. Check us out on our national podcast, the Believe Network, After Hours with Defo and Lubie, BLEAV.com. Search After Hours. You can also check us out every morning right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network with Defo on 5. I join in on that. And our South Florida content from our morning show right here, the Defo Show with Lubie, on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Hey folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.